Hello everyone, it's Easter evening. It's a rainy Easter evening. Let's continue with Shibboleth. Part 7. It is still dark when Silvio finishes his work around the moolah. He has a simple breakfast and some tea. It's a good day to look out over the horizon, but here nothing can be seen. It's too foggy. So Silvio decides to hike up the mountain and leaves his ark. Eventually, he will rise above the fog and perhaps, maybe, with a clear view, even see Barataria. As he gets higher, the air turns cool, crisp, and clean. After hiking for many hours, he chooses to rest, cook some dinner, and stay for the night. As the stars come out, the sky becomes a big, dark crystal, with lights sparkling all over it. After dinner, he is lying on the ground next to the fire and looking up. As he is slipping into sleep, he repeats over and over, saying softly, "Calling on the bird tribe. Calling on the bird tribe." The next morning, as Silvio lies on his side, the dawn comes and slowly he opens his eyes. He is facing the east. Just lying still, all is quiet. Some gentle morning sounds by the birds and the breeze. Next comes the ray of sun appearing on the horizon. He lies there for a few moments, just looking into it as it becomes stronger, and he recollects some of his dreaming. Walking up upon an ice castle. Snow is blowing lightly, but it does not accumulate upon this big old castle ruin. The walls are warm, and all of its decay is clearly seen, even though it is built in a very strong, powerful way. Silvio gently but firmly approaches the huge front doors. Inside, JP and JD just sit, drinking and smoking in front of the huge fireplace, in their huge seats. JP's magnificent seat is made from zebra skins and bones, crisscrossing in a crazy-looking pattern that looms over his head. JD's fabulous perch is made from the skin of a big pink elephant, topped by the skull of a Sasquatch. "Someone is ringing, Johnny," says JD. JP has nodded off, but as usual, he comes to full alert, wide awake in an instant. "That's Zupa," says JP. "I welcome them." The next thing Silvio remembers is joining JD and JP, having a good time, and the hypnotical experience of sharing with them tales of Abraxas, the lullabies, singing and dancing, and clear, subconscious illumination of how ice money functions. According to the magic formula, the management of our money demand, that is, the amount of money in circulation, can never be possible as long as the stock of money issued does not equal the supply of money available, which is what happens when we use hoardable money. But the riddle has been solved. Abraxas is in the house now, and it, the dragon, will melt your castle. That is, I mean, your ability to freeze our economy. Silvio asked the two no-eyes guys, "What do you think about the active currency policy?" It was lying there on the big table in a room called the library, where the walls were lined with books on the shelves which reached high up into the pinnacle of elaborate ceiling architecture. It made me wonder, are those way up there books which are used by the stars, way up out of reach? "Where did you get this book?" asked Silvio, pointing to the book on the table. "It came from Abraxas," they replied. And now, as Silvio was remembering his dream, he put all this together. The dragon, who has actually worked for many years for the big government and the big and very old landowners, and the Federal Reserve, as it has been known up until this time, has been guarding this very special document, active currency policy, along with the gold, for many years. Now Silvio suddenly realizes that, being the wise old dragon, Abraxas knows, he knows, active currency policy is the best business decision for everyone, for the whole planet and all of nature and life. Remembering some more of the dream, Silvio recalls discussing in a playful way how capitalism functions regarding technology. When we use ice money, technology will not be held back in order to draw interest. Ice money does not allow this because it cannot slow down production by withdrawing like hoardable money does. No more busts, no more crisis, no more unemployment. The technology for cleaner and more efficient and effective industry and communication will be revealed for us, the workers, including employers, CEOs, and factory owners, to utilize in order for us, with all our genius, to refine the division of labor more and more. Once we no longer need to spend so much of our time and efforts taking care of the body and the sustainability of the material needs, and when we finally fully inhabit Earth and can manage the material plane in a clear way, then the hybrid nature which we are aiming for can proceed, half physical, half spirit being. This communion is capable of further defining and creating the divine world, translating the God message here in this most perfect environment, Earth, this planet and its ecosystem. We will discover how special we are when we make the conscious decision to engage the basic income, our agent of transformation, and ice money, which melts, ultimately in perfect balance with all that is. US dollars, which melt to keep them flowing. Ice money, created by the US Treasury, and the basic income dollars, which also melt, possibly at a faster rate than regular US dollars. This is the next step for enabling the spirit component to be fully integrated by us here. The angelic ones await this welcome. The traditional form of money, which is hoardable, does not welcome them. It obstructs and interferes with the divine process of creation, and it even obstructs and distorts natural selection, and it destroys. There are many, many more geniuses here with us today than fear money can buy. level the playing field with ice money. Automatically, the natural resources will flow smoothly, steady, sustainably, easily. No matter how hard evil tries, it can only achieve good when money melts like ice. When the abundant hordes of money are forced by the melting to return to circulation, we will have lots of extra money to put into earth recovery, human recovery, self-recovery. This is what the people want, demand. Now. Tikkun Olam. Capitalism will commit its suicide alone. There will be no more need for protection or tariffs of any kind. It will die naturally. Nobody will need to do anything forceful. Each is free to choose. Hoardable money, with its unearned income and war, or ice money, which serves to welcome our true divine nature. We each must make a conscious choice, even if that means just asking for the advice of someone else and agreeing. Who will agree to remain under the spell of the traditional money which is hoardable, and its debt money with interest system of illusion, which brings out the fear and enhances all of our bad qualities? Our money system of gold, metal, was a gift from the magicians. It served us by inspiring the division of labor and lifting us out of primitive production and barter as we have evolved here on our planet. Now, it is time to purify this form. Metal to water, gold to ice melting, and then to air. Maybe no money at all someday. Alchemy. The message of Silvio Gesell guides us precisely. The natural economic order is sacred text about money. It is our superior weapon against the hoardable money, an order for true peace. The two-edged sword coming from the mouth with no blood. It is ice money, otherwise known as free money, money freed to circulate, and free land, land freed from the captivity of ownership. Still lying on his side, looking into the morning sun, Silvio sees himself in the dream once again. Swiftly, like a spider, climbing up, up, and higher up, the bookcases of the library room, all the way up so high that now he is so high, JP and JD cannot even see him. But Silvio can see them. He takes a deep breath and reaches, reaching out to get this one particular book from one of the highest shelves. The book levitated itself to his open hand. And suddenly, immediately, just as Silvio clutches the book in his hand, Silvio and this book come plunging down like something which was thrown down from the heavens into the earth. Silvio takes a deep breath. And as he drifts in and out of sleep, he also remembers this, dancing and singing on top of the big table, inside of a circle, which was already there, engraved into the center of the table, which was made of metal. His left hand was held up above his head, reaching out, it seems. And then Silvio felt something in his hand, growing and becoming more dense, and with weight. He felt this physically as he looked into the sun, gently waking up to the day and recalling his dream. He looked down at his hand. There was nothing, but it felt so real. Sitting up now and fully awake, he felt like moving along, continuing up the mountain. Meanwhile, back at the ice castle, JP and JD are stirring. JD is half naked, sitting in his pink perch with his pink hat on, the one with the peacock feathers all lined up like a mohawk. It looked like a gladiator's helmet, delicately designed to appear very provocatively pink. JP is rolling out of his gigantic zebra bed with all his teddy bears, or whatever is there under the covers. Up and at 'em. End Part 7. Part 7.5. Getting Close. Silvio hikes up into the fog, which is turning into rime. Frost buildup on the branches of trees, blown sideways by the wind and frozen. As the temperature dropped, Silvio kept going up, up. Snow now is starting to accumulate on the ground, and Silvio is wondering if he should continue. Something compels him. Along the way, Silvio thinks to himself, even technology will be freed when we begin using ice money. This gift of the three magicians flows in circulation. It must. And it binds, without interruption nor distortion, to the ideas of our great inventors and geniuses, allowing these ideas to surface and be seen by the people, and we decide what we choose to keep with our money. Circulating money gives life to the best ideas out there, so that all compete in a way which cannot be manipulated. Goodness rises, and there is nothing which hoardable money can do about it by withdrawing and hiding out in its cave when we use ice money. And Silvio also ponders, I wonder what lies beyond the deep, dark cave. Could there be people down there? Could there be a world within a world? And thus finishes Silvio's stream of thought. After about an hour of walking in the snow, Silvio begins sensing a warmth upon his breathing. And this warmth, which now is felt in his chest, inspires him. He follows this subtle feeling, and now he wonders, what is the source? The rime melts, and he is unexpectedly now standing on the edge of the forest and looking up at the humongous castle ruin, sitting like a giant prehistoric stone frog. Some of the jewel decorations embedded in the fortress-like columns and walls reflect beams of sun's rays, shooting through the dense, thick fog, which encircles the towers. A flash of thought crosses Silvio's mind, a picture, actually, of thought. A golden tower, flecks of mica reflecting the sun, a golden sunrise. And somewhere in the distance, deep in the center of his being, like a strike of lightning thunder rumbling over the sea, he hears, ah, ho. He walks on up to the castle and the giant front doors, and he knocks instead of ringing or buzzing. And this way, he meets P of D, who gradually comes to answer the door. Well, not exactly. P of D uses the special little revolving door instead of just opening up the big doors right away. Why? Because he is P of D. He writes a note on a little piece of paper. Who is it? Signed P of D. And rotates the little door with the note on board to the other side where Silvio is standing. Silvio returns the note with his message. I am P of U. That stands for Prince of the Unknown. The little rotating door is opened up again from the inside, and a hand comes out to shake the hand of Silvio. Then the huge old and weathered wooden doors begin to creak and slowly open. And now, the P of D explains his vision, and we begin to wonder just where the two old no-eyes guys come from. We find the P of D and the P of U sitting on the veranda, which looks like a giant-sized stone frog tongue. How would you like to sit on a frog's tongue? What a wild ride that would be. Silvio starts the conversation. So, Prince, tell me again, what was your vision? P of D explains his explanation. Okay, well, now this goes back well before the Renaissance, though. Let me see. I had good intentions. Do you know why they call me the Prince of Darkness? It is because I come from the dark world, deep down below, deep in the earth. I'm not a mean guy. There it is all different. For one thing, I don't have to wear these dark sunglasses all the time. I had good intentions, said P of D. And then he was silent for a long time. He smoked his pipe with the long stem and blew smoke rings. So many smoke rings were floating around, they began to look like bubbles, but they were smoke. Gradually, it got dark out. And then P of D relaxed, breathing out a sigh of relief. I have no trouble telling this story. I had a nice vision when I introduced the money made of gold here in your world. I said to myself, gold, really? It has no practical use. Who would want to hoard something which there is really no use for? Surely, I said to myself, the people will just keep it all in circulation and only use it for what it was intended, as the medium of exchange, only to assist in the exchange of our products. Money, as I envisioned it, should make the exchange of all the goods faster, easier, and cheaper, so that the workers get all that is earned, the full price of the product, none going to the ones who don't do any work at all. And this way, business runs smoothly, continuously, new industries forming regularly to replace the old as soon as the good new ideas are able to fly. And fly they do, when the money makes itself available. Money, the great midwife, assures that the great talent which is birthed in every generation does not die unnoticed. And look what else happened because of money, the division of labor. The gold money made it possible to pay all the various workers that are part of getting a product made and shipped to the customer. So many people benefited from that money, from this, that money became indispensable in our daily lives. And as we have found out, without money, nearly all of the population suffers, because the division of labor, all of our industries, is restricted from doing all the jobs, completing the jobs, refining the jobs, or work which needs to be done. Somebody, not I, discovered an evil way to misuse the gold money. Money is powerful. It influences our actions every day. All of us are affected by it. The ego is natural. It is the strongest natural impulse for protecting myself as I am. Ego gets me up off my lazy butt and makes me work to provide at least for myself. My ego also wants the most comfort for myself, and it will do almost anything to make that so. But if my life becomes a masquerade or full of fear and desperation, then the actions of my ego, inspires or make me do can be very convoluted. Unexpectedly looking up at the stars, P of D explains something he is very familiar with: the blackness between the stars. What comes from the sun is not light, and it is not heat either. It is a force or an energy with motion, moving outward in all directions. It is invisible, like spirit. As it moves through outer space, we do not see anything until it meets with some object which creates a sort of friction. When the force encounters something in its path, like the atmosphere around our planet, light happens. And if it hits moisture particles just right, a rainbow can even happen. And heat can also happen when the sun energy encounters things or stuff in its path. Moving through outer space, the energy does not encounter anything, and so we have blackness or darkness between the stars. I will mention one more thing because I know that it has something to do with what's on your mind. Water must be protected from the energy of sun, either in a hermetically sealed container like the body, or in the shade of the trees and bushes which grow all along the banks of its many veins and arteries, the creeks and rivers, through the earth body, Mother Nature, and in some places, in the ground under the shade of the forests. Water and the sun have a very special relationship. This can be seen even by me in many different ways. Money was not meant to be saved. I mean, withdrawn from circulation and hoarded. When this happens, all of our workers are interrupted. This includes the managers, directors, and CEOs from completing their tasks, and we fail to arrive to the point of activity where we are able to actually do less and concern ourselves more with, one, just sustaining and maintaining the things we have. Two, refining those things to function better. This includes automation, research and development. And three, becoming more in tune to higher aims, sometimes thought of as spiritual. That is the way money is supposed to function. But now I realize that by using gold, money became hoardable and usury, which feeds our ego in a very bad way, was able to grow into an incredibly horrible monster. And now Silvio spoke. My friend, I can tame this monster, and in fact it, the monster, will, before the end of it all, become our servant. They talk deep into the wee hours of the night, all about ice money and also freeing the land, and they talk about how to make the change and begin our transformation. P of D has one more thing to add. Ask you may, do I have anything to do with the three magicians? Yes, I answered their request. What can we do, they asked me, in order to help us all work better together? And I answered their call. Later, when saying goodbye, P of D removes his dark glasses, and Silvio sees that he has no eyes. He and the P of U, Silvio, stand at the money gate, with no secrets on their minds. All has been revealed, and now the air is so clear it is crystalline, like the understanding between the P of D and the P of U. Using ice money, which melts, the defect in our current money system is fixed, and we are enabled to push on through capitalism, I mean continue our industrial work smoothly, continuously, easy on the environment, with less pollution, not with overactivity or overproduction, followed by underactivity or underproduction. Building, building, uninterrupted, until we colonize this sacred planet completely, sustainably, so that we may move on to uninterrupted divine creation. Starlight beings operating through us, humans, the masters of the physical realm of physical matter, creating with the Mother, Earth. And then this practice spreading throughout other worlds, other planets, still using, if necessary, the ice money, which melts at a very specific rate to balance supply with demand. I think that is some kind of divine order, right? And Silvio finished his thoughts. But the PFD has something to say, you know. Silvio reminded him of how their talk out on the frog's tongue concluded. I waited and waited, quietly. We could hear the tiny sound of a seagull far down below on the beach. It was so silent. PFD, I said, it's all you, boy. Nothing. Calmness and a natural sort of feeling came upon the whole atmosphere surrounding us. Cheers, said PFD, and he held his cup out toward the moon. Here, here, I said, to collaborating. And I held my cup out as well, and we clashed them together solidly. End part 7.5.